What's good, Ray fam? You're tuned into Kandi and Chaos, the unfiltered podcast for EDM lovers, festival goers, and even all you normies out there, where the bass drops will have you vibing every time.
We're your hosts, Dev and Goose. This is where the bass is loud, stories are wild, and nothing is off limits. Let's get into it.
Alright. I, once again, and Q, the silliest goose.
And this is your girl, Dev with the Bev. Today's beverage is Red Bull, vanilla iceberry, unalcoholic. And,
For now.
Unalcoholic.
And today we actually have a very special guest, someone that I know personally, a good friend, someone that Dev has gotten to know recently as well.
Who the hell is this?
Local DJ.
Hi. Yeah. My name's Tim. I go by Relapse. I'm a local dubstep DJ, heavy dubstep, melodic dubstep, all sorts of big stuff. So you probably know me from different things, either in the underground or from recent shows like the Kaiwachi, Keizo, or ATL gigs at Big Night. And I'm just excited to be here today.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I like vaguely remember you at ATL.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being there, but it was such a euphoric experience for me.
Sure.
I'm just like, ATL just took that show so far.
Oh yeah, well us too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly. But I do vaguely remember you. I very much do remember you from Keizo.
Oh,
You were direct support for Keizo, right?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
How did that feel? Just being able to literally set up Keizo.
It was crazy. Absolutely wild experience. I mean, we really, it's cool how fast some of this stuff happens when it does start to happen. You spend a lot of time, years in the underground just doing what you do, and eventually something shakes out. And, once you get that first foot in the door, you get the next couple, and then, it's kind of wild to, realize how, close you actually are to some of those gigs, because I would have not ever had said that I would be direct support for Keizo that quick.
Yeah.
But it was it's an opportunity, and you bite into it. It's fun.
When you were building that set for Keizo, how did that come about? Did you look into his music, or I'm assuming you were generally familiar with him? He's a pretty big name.
Yeah, of course.
Did you set up your set to try to match what you thought he was gonna bring?
Yeah. So I mean, it's really funny how set building goes when it comes to I guess just bass music in general. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys follow my threads at all. I talk a lot about, sort of topics to do with either dubstep and all that. And it's hard because each genre has its own, different rules as to how you're supposed to approach sets. But there are generally rules you do have to, adhere to regardless of, what the genre is. And so things like not playing their music specifically, trying in general to, match within the amount, that you can do in your own style of play, match what the vibe of the show is. That's important. I have other rules, I don't play, or I try not to play songs that are released in the last 2 years that are mega bangers, especially older stuff even that is an actual huge song Feel Something. I'm never gonna play on support. But in terms of the actual matching to the set, you definitely do take it into consideration. I think what's really cool is that when you're given an opportunity like Keizo, it's an opportunity for me who doesn't play a lot of hard techno to be oh, okay, well, I'll play my heavy dub and my metal step like I usually do, but this is an opportunity to throw some of that in because it's kind of within the sort of realm of the show. So definitely there was some of that going on in that set planning.
Yeah, it's funny because I was listening to Keizo for a few years before he announced that show, and a lot of my experience with him was a lot more heavy dubstep.
Yeah.
And so when he came on and he just started with hard tech and all that stuff, I was taken aback. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking great.
Yeah, that's the thing with Keizo. It's just funny. I don't think people have that notion in their head, but he legitimately, I think a lot of the stuff he did in the beginning was almost, I don't know, I'm not super familiar with it, but he was very much in the hard techno scene well before I think.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't on it
kind of where
then.
he started. And then
Yeah, I definitely wasn't on it back then, but I like I said, the past few years listening to him is a lot of heavy dubstep, a lot of metal stuff, and I'm just sitting there wow, that's what I was expecting going in. Then he just took a complete opposite direction.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit. And especially the way you were setting him up, I was like, okay, yeah, this could definitely vibe into that. And then it was just he came out, started a little bit on it, and then just completely went the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Didn't you have family at that show too?
Queso?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because there was someone that was next to me that was like, "Oh, that's my brother. Can I get on rail?" I was like,
Oh, was Emma there? I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Could have also just been somebody.
I always-
I know, right? No, because that's the
that
funny
does
thing.
happen.
I know that's the funny thing because like she only asked when he came on, and as soon as you were done, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. It's yours again." I'm like, "Oh okay."
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I actually, yeah, it might not. I think, yeah, I think it was my ex. But
Yeah, maybe. Like all I know is, like, yeah, I know, right? A little bit of tea for that one.
well, no, I mean, like that's what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, queso was fun. It was a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Very, very good for sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't at Keizo. I was at EDC at the time.
you missed out.
But my experience was Kaiwachi, and I was in your face, like right there,
Yeah.
square,
I
and
think
that
a
was.
lot of us were.
Yeah.
We had the whole Ray fam right in front of
We-
this
Yeah,
picture.
kind of
we
the same. Yeah, you guys did pull up really early.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I got it was so funny because when I was setting up for that set, like there are always kind of like little operational delays here and there that you have to kind of account for, especially when you're like on support. But what was funny about that is that when we needed to start, we needed to like start, and I was looking for the song in my USB to start with, and I literally said to Kawachi, I said, I'm like, do you mind if I start hard? And he's like, yeah man, like go for it. And so I literally was looking for the song I wanted to start with, and the guy was like, you gotta just play something. And so I had to pick something that I wasn't going to start with. And I was like, damn it. You know? Like, yeah.
How was that interacting with like someone like Kaiwachi?
It's always
he's like one of the biggest names right now too. So
Yeah, it's a really interesting experience, you know, like, because you gotta imagine with a lot of those guys who are mega headliners, like, that, you know, this is what they do, right? They, like, go around and they do shows like this all the time. So, like, you know, I always just try to be respectful of the fact that, like, you know, they're here to do their job, they're here to do the thing they do, they don't need, you know, every single person opening for them, you know, spending time, you know, bothering them, but, you know, I think the thing that I always try to do is just make an impression and say, like, hey, you know, I really appreciate it, and, you know, obviously they do a good job with their sets, you can tell they did good, you know, and sometimes it opens doors, and sometimes it's just a nice interaction.
yeah, 'cause I can just only imagine what it's like to kind of just meet someone that you're like a huge fan of too.
Yeah.
Because like I could just imagine like if I was in your position like meeting Kaiwachi, I would just be like starstruck, just like tripping over myself the whole time.
Yeah, and it does get easier the more you do it, right? Like, I mean, I definitely had that experience with Kai, but at that point, I think I'd met, a couple different major DJs, and it's just, it's something that, like, you get better at hiding it a little bit. You know, that little bit of, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's, like, Kaiwachi. It's like, hi, man, like, nice set, I appreciate you, you having me on, you know. In your head, you're like, oh my god.
Oh my god, it's Kaiwachi!
Yeah.
Together. So how does that come about? Like, what goes into the process of them choosing who gets to be support?
Honestly, it's so funny because we still don't know. I mean, you know, and that's the real answer. Is like, it goes back to something I say quite a bit, which is, you know, there's a lot of options for support for any given show, and especially on a thing like Kaiwachi at Big Night or Keizo or ATL Hands or any of them, right? Like, there's a lot of options in any given area for who can be in those places, and what I've found to be very true is that, like, when you can make a point and a case that, like, you are someone who will bring people to their venue, that's like the biggest thing that you can do for yourself as an artist.
Right.
But really outside of that, it's a lot of times it's behind their doors, right? Like, you'll have a booking agent like talking to you and like saying, hey, you know, we want you to come do this, but that's about it, right? Like, you don't have like like this is a selection process, or, you know, in a lot of ways for them it's you know, and this is for pretty much every showrunner we've worked with, is, you know, if it's a fit, it's a fit. They'll ask you to do it, and that's
Make a
usually
good
how it goes.
impression, they'll ask you to come back again.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I will say from my experience, you definitely made an impression at the shows I've seen you at, so
I try my best.
respect it.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that too is it's hard when you're in those positions. Like, the thing that a lot of up and coming DJs will do that, like, is almost like the opposite of what you should be doing is, like, they treat it like an opportunity to, like, really, like, rip the decks apart and really, like, show, like, oh, this is, like, you know, a statement piece for me. And I think, you know, I was fortunate enough to be experienced with people who were in the scene and who were in, like, the industry music wise early, who had explained that away for me. It was like, listen, like, when you're on support for these shows, for these big acts, it is not about you. You know, as much as it is an opportunity to, like, get out there and, like, show people what you do, like, they're the headliner. And so much of what goes into being a support act on a big show like that is, like, how do I stay true to my art and my music while also like fitting the bill and like making sure that I'm setting them up for success and building the energy of the night.
How much of a challenge is that for you personally? Like, does that?
It really, this goes back to the genre thing, right? Like, it's going to depend very heavily on what the genre is, like what the rules are for being a support act. And in bass music and dubstep, it is very much like, there's much more of a culture of like, yeah, go as hard as you want, I don't care. But there are those rules that I mentioned earlier, right? Like where it's like, it's within reason, right? Like not playing songs. Oh, another thing that you really want to do when you're doing this is making sure that like you're aware of what they generally play and try not to play the same music that they would. Right, so things like that. Like,
so do you do like research before going up? So make sure like, hey, let me watch like the last 3 sets that they put out.
A lot.
Make sure I don't.
Yeah.
He's like 3. No, try 10.
I mean, seriously, it's funny because like I have friends in the industry who have opened for other really major acts in their genres, and it's like I've been at shows with them where like I heard them play a certain song, and then I was talking to them afterwards and heard the headliner play that same song, and their face is always like, God damn it, like it's just like I missed one. But it's just, and it happens, and nobody's gonna like, nobody's gonna come down and be like, you played the same song that I played that nobody told you I was gonna play, so now you're in trouble. It's like, it doesn't work like that, but you do try your best.
Yeah, no, like I said, I can only imagine the amount of like time and effort goes into putting together a set, especially for a lot of these big headliners.
Yeah.
But I know like, what was it? You announced recently that you're performing the silent disco at Breakaway, Minnesota.
Yeah. So Ohio is going to be with Thresher, my buddy
Nice.
out there, and then Minnesota is the one we just announced. That's obviously a solo set for the silent disco out there. We have a couple more silent discos coming, so that'll be fun.
Yes.
Stay tuned. But
And I'm really excited for Breakaway Mass this year too.
Oh yeah. I mean, they always do a good job, and we're always very fortunate to work with them. Like they've given us a lot of opportunities, so
Yeah,
I'm always happy to.
I know 2024. Like to me, the lineup was insane in 2024.
Yeah.
Last year, for me personally, was almost like a step back. Like as big as Subtronics is, Subtronics headlining this last year compared to like Deadmau5, Millennium, Big Gigantic, Tiesto was just a little bit of a step back for me personally. But then this year, as soon as it dropped, I was so happy about the early bird tickets. I was like, dude,
Excision on like.
I know, like Excision in Worcester, Mass. Like, what the hell, dude? Or even Griffin. Like, I really hope that while Excision's playing, Griffin just comes out and they play Air. Like, just do that little.
Oh, I don't know if you know this. I have a remix of Air.
I don't know that. I need
We're gonna have
that.
to
I need
hear
that in my
that.
life.
It's on SoundCloud if you guys want to hear it. It's there. But
Definitely check them out on SoundCloud. All right, we are all listening to that immediately.
What is your app of choice? Like, when you put out your music, where is like your most preferred?
yeah, great question. I mean, honestly, the strategy with music is just get it everywhere. So I put it out like Apple Music, Spotify, everything. It's SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You can
Same
find
thing
it
we're doing with podcasts.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know
It's
how it
everywhere
goes.
and anywhere.
Right. I mean, I use Spotify, but I also SoundCloud has been another one that I've used quite a bit for like the underground music you can't really like get on Spotify because they can't release it technically. Right?
Permissions and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I prefer Spotify myself,
Yeah.
but I have found that like a lot of the songs that I love, I can only get on SoundCloud or YouTube because they're not on Spotify.
Right.
Step your game up, Spotify.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the time it's a licensing thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
If it's a flip, you're usually taking the vocal, and you haven't gained permission from like the artist to use it. It's sort of just like
Taylor
what's called a
Swift cranked
bootleg.
that.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right. Hits everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally like SoundCloud. It's very. I find more like you're able to get a lot more. Like I'm like, oh my gosh,
You
there's
are.
this one song, and I look up on Spotify, you can't find it. SoundCloud, it's great, and like the comments you can comment like, oh my gosh, this drop is sick. Like right on the drop.
Yeah.
That's the best part to me. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I started on Spotify and like I just built playlists on there. I have like a whole bunch of songs that I'm like, these are my songs. So it's like then moving to Spotify, it's like, oh, I have to do that again. And it just feels like so much baggage to drag around. I'm just like, I got it.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
I definitely still use SoundCloud for like those couple songs. I'm like, all right. Like for example, the Levity Slip of Best Day Ever by Mac Miller. Like,
sure.
Definitely not finding that on Spotify, but
Probably not.
no, I've tried so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely SoundCloud on that one or YouTube again.
For sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah, have you ever headlined a show?
Yeah, a bunch of times. I actually am headlining in New York on May 5th. No, May 2nd.
Yeah,
We will
yeah.
be there.
Oh,
I haven't
did
told him
see
yet,
that.
but we will
Oh,
be there.
hell
I
yeah.
did see that.
I already RSVP'd.
That'll be fun.
Yes, I did.
That's a Saturday, right?
Yep, the day after Mercive.
Oh yeah, right after Mercive.
Mercive, back to
It's funny. We're actually
Labs.
we're going to Mercive's Night Vision tour to celebrate one of our friends' birthdays.
Hell yeah.
So then we're apparently going right out to your show in New York City.
The whole squad from Mercive is going to New York. We're just hightailing it.
So
we'll be
yeah,
there.
we got your back. You're gonna have people there for you.
Hell yeah.
Man.
Love that, dude. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I mean, I've headlined a couple different times, and you know, it's obviously that's like a more all gas no brakes type situation. You can do whatever you want, you know. So that's always nice.
How does curating a set for something that you're headlining versus something support? Like, what are you? Obviously, you're not following your own set of rules there, because
Yeah, like you're the headliner. Like
Right.
you follow my
Right.
rules. You're setting me up.
Yeah.
How do you go about that one? Like, do you have input into like who your support is, anything like that?
It really, yeah, that's really going to depend on like what the booking looks like and who's putting it together. Like I've put together shows where I've been the headline and I've built the support lineup before. That's usually happens when someone's like, I want to book you, and I trust that you understand like the right people for the genre. But that's not really often how it goes. A lot of times, like at least in my experience, when I headline things, it's usually like you're just in the headline slot, and we have the rest of the people picked for whatever we wanted them to be, you know. And sometimes it's to give, you know, the locals and wherever you're playing a shot at being on a lineup with someone who's doing this kind of stuff. I mean, not to be like, you know, whatever, but just like someone who's, you know, experienced in doing it and get like, you know, some more exposure that way for the younger. You know,
Yeah, it's definitely good to try to, you know, like get local people some support. I mean, like you said, that's how a lot of people kind of come up, get their recognition, get their sets out there, be like, kind of make that statement for themselves without trying to obviously overshadow the headliner.
Yeah, well, and exactly, right? It's like, in a lot of ways, you know, it's just too expensive to like if I were to be playing in somewhere like Minnesota or whatever, like imagine they wanted me to come out to headline, like, are they going to pay me to do that, and then they're going to pay everybody I want to also come out to do it? It's like,
absolutely not.
you know, yeah, so
that makes sense.
exactly, you make the decisions where you make them, and then you give the locals a chance, and that gives them kind of a doorway into, you know, making a name for themselves the right way.
So, as someone that's headlining something, how did you get here? Like, what did you like? I know you talked a little bit about having like an underground stage. Like,
Sure.
what's the progression? Like, what did it take
I
for
also do remember you mentioned like just how you chose your name of Relapse. Like,
Oh,
I remember you told me about that. It was a while ago.
Yeah, you're good. No, yeah, it's funny, right? So to your question, it's so funny. Like, what is the progression? It is so hard to explain that because it's just there. Honestly, like it's like if you find out, let me know. You know,
yeah.
like it kind of just happened for us, and I think you know, where me and my team have like found that success has been in like taking the opportunities we've gotten in the underground and like turning that into like a package to like. This was the success model. Like it's almost like I don't know if you guys are. I don't know what you do for work outside of this stuff, but like it's like a white paper in a way, right? Where you're like, this is like a case study of, you know, we have done this successful thing here, and you know kind of find a good way at the right time to just put that in the hands of the right promoter who's going to say like, okay, well, you know, he's successful. We need someone on this show that does what he does, or they, I guess, do, and just really, you know, give them that opportunity. And so for, you know, underground people looking to do that, I guess the biggest piece of advice that I've had, and I say this online all the time, I say it to everybody, but people don't take this advice. I don't know why. But, like, understand your draw. Like, when you are on shows, you can figure out how many people came out to see you. You can figure out what the ticket sales were. And, like, not for nothing, if you can get 20, 30, 40 people to turn out to your shows, that means something to a promoter as opposed to someone who is just like, oh, well, I'm good at music. And that's it, right? Like, you know.
Crickets.
Yeah, I mean, to that, I actually have a follow-up question to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much do you like really like see from like behind the deck? Like, do you really see everything that's going on?
Yeah.
Because I know, especially like sometimes
That's a good question.
I'll be sitting there. No, because sometimes I'll be sitting there at the rail. And I'll be looking up, and you see the lasers going, and it's just like, there's no way they're seeing through that.
Oh, yeah. No, I can see everything.
But,
Oh.
so yeah,
It's so funny, yeah.
yeah, no, I can only imagine like how distracting that can be. I remember what was that Crank that I got on Crank Deck, And as soon as the lasers started, I'm just like, holy shit, it's so different back here.
Yeah.
And just seeing everything, I'm like, there's no way I'd be able to focus on the crowd.
Yeah.
Like the lasers, just everyone was like, yep, nope, straight overstimulation.
Well, to that point, right? Exactly, right? It's like, I can see everything, but I am not paying attention to that, right? It's like, if I wanted to look out and find people, I can see, because again, like, there's a bright screen behind me, there's a bunch of lasers and a bunch of lights. Everything's illuminating the crowd, right? You think that it's not, you know, but it is. And,
Yeah.
But you're so busy doing, if you're actually DJing, you're so busy doing what you're doing that, like, you don't have time to be looking and being like, I think that guy's on something. You know, like,
Have you had a moment like that where you
Yes.
like what's on record what you can talk about? What's the craziest thing you've seen, or like the thing that you've been like, what am I looking at?
I honestly, it's funny because there's never been anything where it's been really, really weird or strange. It's just exactly what you'd think it is at a show like that, where it's like, you know, someone in the crowd who is enjoying their experience, however they want to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and is making whatever face they're making, and sometimes you just catch them and you're like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I know me and one of our best friends, Billy, when we were at Alley Cat, me and him were just going off on the rail from the jump. And one of the openers, Tazu, came down after a set and literally walked up to us like, you two went the fuck off and I love you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was just interacting. I was like, wow, I didn't realize you actually like noticed us.
Yeah.
It was like such a surreal moment. It's like, I've heard a little bit of Tazu before, but like it's definitely not someone who's like a staple in my playlist.
Sure.
So it's like even like knowing someone like, yo, I know this person, I've heard their music, I like their music, and they're coming down, they've like noticed me, like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, and you can see it. I mean, like when people are going hard at the rail, you appreciate it because it's like it feeds your own energy, right? Like there's this thing people say that's like, if you're not gonna play, or if you're playing a room of 100, you should play it with the same energy that you play a room of like 10,000. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, but the reality is the room of 10,000 is going to feed you more energy to like that experience. So like when you do have those people that you notice are like going off and like really putting all, you know, their energy into it, it's very much appreciated.
So,
you know,
speaking of that, like when you're in the studio or when you're building a song or even when you're just performing, is there like a certain, like what do you want the crowd to feel? What do you want everyone in front of you to like feel?
Yeah, well, and it's funny, right? Like, so you asked earlier what my name means, and people, you know, everyone's like, is it a drug thing? It's not. So it's, I mean, I really like the way it looked. I mean, that was kind of the originating thing, but the internal feeling for me is like, I want people when they're at my shows to feel like, you know, I am who I am supposed to be who I am, and I'm going to stand tall and be myself, and that is exactly who I should be. And like, the whole relapse thing is like about like dropping the mask and like being yourself, like relapsing into yourself as a person.
You said you kind of rediscovered yourself. What was it, during COVID?
Yeah,
That's
I think
part of what went into your name.
Yeah, so the music type of stuff. Yeah, exactly, the dubstep. So this is a good. So I've been listening to dubstep since obviously, you know, the Skrillex days and like the whole, you know, Teminite days, like, you know, from Dubstep Gutter, like that whole, you know, that whole environment was what, you know, got me into dubstep. And then in college, I just got really into like prog house. Right, that was around the time like Avicii unfortunately passed away, but also, you know, the time with Martin Garrix, and then you know, just all those kinds of like prog house artists like Alesso, Swedish House Mafia, like going off with all their really good music, and I was really into that. And then I lived in Germany for a little bit, and I got really into like the bunker techno stuff over there.
Yeah, Germany loves techno.
Yeah, exactly. But then I came back, got really into bass house, and then I kind of rediscovered dubstep through that whole process. So that was also like I relapsed into my love for dubstep.
Yes.
So there's an ecosystem around the name, but.
But on some other thing, you said you were playing 2 silent discos.
Yes.
I went to my first silent disco at the last breakaway.
Nice.
And I believe Cowson was playing with someone.
Kids
But I thought that's like kind of what I'm looking the most forward to.
Yeah.
I'm excited for all the artists playing this year, but I want to go to the silent disco. Like, it's so cool to see like all like everybody's listening to something different, but everyone's dancing this like doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's so awesome. And like I watched also Alwac. I believe he was there one of the days. And just watching seeing an individual like get to like watch and like watching them do their thing it was very like personal, and I think the silent disco is something that like is not I hope more people do it.
Yeah.
Because it was just a good experience for me.
Alright, so you heard everyone. If you want to meet Dev with the Bev at Breakaway, go to Silent Disco. If you want to meet me, rail forever.
Pull up with a Bev though. I'm not talking to you if you don't have a Bev for Dev.
But yeah, to your point, right? Like the silent disco is a very much more intimate experience. It feels like a lot more like you in tune with just like the people who are getting a chance to play, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I do it. You know, even last year when I was on the main lineup for Mass, I was also at the disco. You know, I did a B2B with my buddy Hyper,
Nice.
and that was a lot of fun. You know, so you just get an opportunity to kind of get out there and sort of, I don't know, play whatever you want. It's kind of like that headliner energy too, because you're not like opening for anyone per se. It's a festival lineup. You can do what you want. So it gives people that like space to kind of go off without, you know, feeling like they have to fit some sort of roster. So it's kind of nice.
So from your experience, it's when you're supporting in shows, you kind of have to curate your set to kind of accommodate for whoever's headlining.
Yeah.
And then, but at the festivals you play, it's kind of just like, I'm just gonna fuck shit up. Like,
Yeah, and usually, right, like the only etiquette rule that I understand at festivals is to not play music from people who are playing later than you. So like in theory,
Yeah,
it's like unless you know them, and then it's like whatever, you know.
like,
then
this is
you're
from
like,
my buddy.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. This is my boys track or whatever, you know. But outside of that, right, like if it's someone that you don't know, it's like leave their music to them. They'll play later. Like, you know, usually you fit the music then that you just would want to play outside of those. You know,
Alright, so
artists.
Ohio and Minnesota, silent discos. Who are you most excited for on those lineups?
On those lineups in particular, the funny thing is I can't talk about why for Ohio yet, but Grizz and Rez are both on that lineup, and I can't see either of them because I have to be in. Well, I have to be in Philly the next day. I can't talk about why I have to be in Philly. I will announce that later, but I can't. So I'm gonna miss them. That's unfortunate.
Oh. Well,
you
let
know.
me tell you, if you have a chance to see Grizz this year,
Oh yeah.
you have to.
I
I just
know.
saw him at Beyond 2 weekends ago. It was insane. Like, so I saw Pop Off when Levity like basically dropped it in Boston.
Yes, that was
And,
amazing.
And I was very, very elevated when I saw it. So
I was very sober and it was phenomenal.
I know.
So to see it from both sides, like to see then Grizz do it. First of all, apologies to anybody that was around me at Beyond because I was but like screaming. It was bad, but it was his set was insane, and we're gonna see him at Forest.
Yes,
and I'm
for
like,
all you Forest
I'm gonna
people,
see him again.
catch us at Grizz.
Yes.
We are going to be there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's always awesome. I mean, I think the first time I ever saw him was, I don't know if it was Mass or if it was something before that.
Yeah, because he was Breakaway Mass 3 years ago.
Something like that. Yeah, the first year that I ever played it was with Grizz on it. Yeah.
I was just a Grizz virgin. My bad.
He's awesome.
I still haven't. All right. I mean, to be fair, I've just started getting into raving in the community and everything, so I have an excuse. You don't.
Well, that's fair. But yeah, he's great, and so yeah, with both of them, I would love to see them. But unfortunately for Ohio, I can't.
Yeah, I know that we are planning to be in Philly at some point in May as well. In the later portion of it, which is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say why because it'll be coming up in a later episode or a short or reel or some sort of social media post. But you know, we'll definitely be there.
Good stuff, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I know we have a few shows lined up over the next couple of weeks. Like we're going by the time this comes out and by the time this is posted, we would have just went to 7 lines, which
That's right.
very excited for that.
Yeah, my boy Spring Street is on support for that, so you should go
That's
early.
awesome.
Will we be seeing you?
Maybe. Good question.
Yes, I have noticed you are a very last minute sender to a lot of shows.
Yeah, and the problem is like a lot of times you're busy. You know, you're busy either working on music or trying to rest and all that stuff, and it's just like so much of going to shows now for me is like it is a last minute send because it's like whatever, fuck it, I'm gonna go, or not.
Does being in this like career, like making music, does it take away? Like I don't want to say take away when you go to a show, but like I almost feel like now that I'm starting to explore music production, I feel like I'm almost like listening more to like, it takes away, like sometimes it's like, I don't want to say hard for me to enjoy the music, but like, do you find yourself kind of like having to like be like, relax and like, listen to the music and like you're here for enjoyment and not working?
Yeah, no, I would say that the ways that it's changed the way I approach going to shows is that obviously you're more in the public eye, so like you're not just some random person in a crowd anymore. A lot of times people will recognize me and be like, "Oh, you're Relapse," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am." You know, so you just gotta kind of be like.
I don't think I've ever said Relapse. But
I'm like, oh my god, it's Ripples.
Yeah, or RLPZ. It's usually any of those names, but it's rarely is it ever your Relapse. But the point is,
we'll get there. We will get there.
Point being, right? Like they'll recognize me and say hi. So like a lot of times, like I have to be on best behavior as well. But in terms of the actual experience of the music, it's almost like I had thought that was going to be a problem, but the more you do it, I think what it's done for me is really built an appreciation for like the actual detail that goes into music that most people wouldn't necessarily be able to hear. Like you do lose a little bit of the magic in the like, oh, this is just something I'm experiencing, but you gain some magic as to like, I can't believe that someone put this together, and I can kind of even tell some of the things that they did to do that. You know, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It's a very, very, very interesting kind of like thing that happens to you the more you do it.
So I mean, speaking on that, like without giving anything away too early, but like, what direction do you think you're heading in, like musically?
I'll let you know when I find it.
It's just a giant journey.
Yeah, well, that's the funniest thing about it, right? Like, is your sound, right? Everybody wants to find their sound, and so much of like the beginning when you're starting to learn to make music is that thought process of like, oh, well, someday I'm gonna make my own sound and I'll figure out what that is. And like, one thing that I've said with my friends quite a bit, who are also pretty solid producers, and we've all kind of agreed on this, is that like, you slowly start to realize that your sound isn't something that you like put out. It's not something that you're like pushing. It's like, when I approach a song that I want to make, it's the sum total of all the decisions that you make in the process of doing that. Like, if I want to make this sound like quieter, what do I reach for? What tool? What kinds of sounds do I reach for? What do I feel like needs to be in the background, or what kind of elements am I going to add to this? Like, those little micro decisions that you go through over the course of making a song are your sound. It's why, like, when you make a song after a long time, like, obviously in the beginning it's hard to find your sound because you're going to do anything and everything. You don't know how anything. And you should be exploring. You should be trying different things. But like, once you've been doing it for a minute, kind of like I wouldn't say I've found my sound yet, but like definitely in that direction. And it's really just that like when I go to make a song, these are the kinds of decisions that I would generally make, and it ends up producing stuff that converges on like that's like this person's track. It's kind of cool.
So like over the last year, what would you say is like the biggest shift in what you've done musically?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's an interesting question. I wouldn't say that there's anything that's like a specific big shift, but right, like the more you go about making music and the more you try different things, like what I've found is really funny is it's almost like a game of steps, where like you'll be making music a certain way and then you'll make like a breakthrough that like alters completely how you feel like you need to be going about making music. It makes you better, and then you're kind of there for a while and you're kind of like doing that, and then at some point you're going to do something that like steps you up again, and you're just constantly finding those steps that would then lead to your process and your sound. But so in the last year, like I definitely have found a couple new processes I really, really like. And you can kind of hear some of that in the music I released, like the S&M flip is a good example of that. I haven't shown you guys Dark Heart. You guys don't know what Dark Heart is. I don't think anybody knows what Dark Heart is. But that's coming out at some point. And that's another one where you guys are going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you can actually hear it if you listen to the producer thing I have on SoundCloud, the mix.
We'll link it.
Yeah.
So,
I think I know when we started talking about having you on, I did go on SoundCloud. I was doing like a little bit deep dive outside. I definitely did hear that producer
I
mix.
believe you sent it in your group chat.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
which I have a community.
I'm a groupie, so I find these things out.
You guys know. But it's fun, yeah. It's always fun debuting new music. But yeah, like those processes and those like ways you go about like making sounds and doing all that, that's like kind of what does it. And big steps just come in practicing and sort of finding those new, like, oh man, I can't believe I figured out how to do that, you know?
What is your favorite thing that you've like put out or like worked on? That like what's your like? This is it. This was the one.
Oh man. Well, Dark Heart is like the one right now where everybody who hears that track is like, oh my god, that's really good. You know, like I've heard really good feedback from like big producers on that one. But the
Like who, if you can tell us.
no, I'm gonna keep that secret. But some big producers are really excited about it, and had been encouraging me about it.
So I'm just gonna like
How does
say probably Excision.
No.
How does that feel to you to like when like a big producer is like, oh my gosh, like this is
It's very validating.
fire, bro.
It's
I
validating.
can imagine it must be more than valid. You must get giddy, like, oh my god, he just said he liked it.
Yeah, well, you would think, right? And it is kind of like that. But what's funny about it is like, I feel like so much of music is like trusting your gut and like understanding that like, because I mean, one of the things you don't really think about when you don't make music is like, you probably have to, in order to get a song done, you have to listen to that song like thousands of times, probably, over and over and over and over and over. Even if you really love that song, you are going to listen to it so much by the time it's done, and like in that it's so easy to get lost in your own head as to like how good or bad it is. And when a producer like takes the time to listen to your music, it's a huge sign of respect. But the other part of that is that when they do like it, or when they're like, yeah, it's good, it's really good, it's like almost like an anchor as to like, oh, okay, it actually is good. Like I don't just think that it is good. You know?
Like you're on the right track. You can continue moving forward because you got that validation of, okay, someone that has been doing this for a lot longer at a much higher level is sitting there saying, dude, this is where it's at. Keep going with that.
Yeah, and I think that that's right. But I think the harder part, and this is the thing where people get trapped or they quit or whatever, is really like what you do when that doesn't happen. When they ignore your music, when they flat out don't want it, when you submit it to labels and you know nobody wants it, nobody wants to sign it. It's rejection. You're always going to get that, and I think like those little moments of like, oh, they actually do like the song are so nice because it's like, oh, that's great, someone does appreciate it. But like the true measure of an artist is going to be how you deal with everyone hating your music and still just being like, this is what I make. Because you're like, it's going to be bad for a long time. I call it the garbage phase in the beginning of music. It's like the phase of time where you are only going to make garbage, and the only way to not make garbage is to sit through your own garbage long enough to get good at it. Like, it is so hard. And like, it's hard to find where that ends and where it's like, okay, I just make the music I like. You just kind of like find that on your own, and it makes a lot of people quit. But I think when you're able to do that, then those moments, like you said, really do feel special. Because it's like, I actually did it. Yeah. Here.
So when you're making music, like how would you promote or advertise your music to people outside of the scene? Like if you wanted like normies or people who don't really listen to dubstep or anything like that to start listening to your music, or people who say like, oh, like EDM's not real music. Like how would you say that? Like, no, listen, it is. Like this is like clearly you were just talking about the process. Like it is a process to build these songs.
Yeah. To
make these beats. Like how would you advertise that or promote that to someone to try to be like bring them into the know?
I mean, the reality is like I kind of don't. I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't. I have people that I know that are like that, and I just in my head it's like I think if you spend time thinking about how to change their opinion on music, you're gonna just be making music for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
but,
that's fair. Like,
yeah.
I know I talked about in a previous episode. Like one of the things I like to do with those type of people are like you said, you have an S&M flip, like something like that where it's just like where it's like you take something like that where it's like this is a song that you consider real music. But guess what? Now it's just different music. It's still music.
Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm getting at is that like that's like something you can do, right? Like as someone who's like external to the process of having made the music, you can take that and be like, listen to this thing this person made, and kind of introduce them that way. Another thing that I've heard is really helpful, right? Is like Subtronics, for instance, plays a lot of music that is like not EDM, that are like either flips or that he uses to like build into his heavy stuff, and like. I've heard from people before that that's a very, very accessible thing. That's like the thing that got them into dubstep was like hearing their favorite artists on those sets. So like I think in a lot of ways like the process, in my opinion, the process of making music, I would not want to corrupt that by having some sort of external like oh, I'm gonna make a flip of this because I want to make people like this kind of music. To me, it's just like the S&M flip was literally like, oh, that's a sick vocal on this flip or on this like track that I made. I'll just use that, and now it's this flip. Like, that's awesome, you know. And if that, you know, in turn inspires someone to like this kind of music, then awesome. But that's not the point, or at least wasn't the original.
That's fair. Because I know, like, one of the points of this podcast is we want people to understand, like, EDM is as much music to us as country music is to other people, R&B music, rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like, it may not have constant guitarists, drummers, pianists, but this is as much music and as much soulful to us as other genres are to other people.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, to that point, right? It's like, in a lot of ways, first of all, it very much is music. I mean, you know, you could say what you want about it, but like the reality is it's music. Like,
I make it. It's music. Okay.
I make it. It's music. It may be beep boops, but still.
Yeah, well, I mean,
boops.
you know, it's just a synth instead of like a guitar. Like, wait, what's the real difference between that? Like, they're just different instruments,
right.
And like the process of making it is not necessarily as live. It can be, but yeah, to that point, right? Like, it's like, to me, it's a come if you want to kind of thing. Like, you know, this is here for you to experience, and there's plenty of people who will, well, especially with the rave community, like, open arms. If you're at a show and you're like, this is my first rave, everyone's gonna look at you and be like, yo, that's sick. You're never gonna get people who are gonna be like, this is your first rave, why are you here?
Right.
You know? So like, that's the real part for me, where I'm like, I build the music that I want to build, I make the sets I want to make, and then like, hey man, if it's your first time in the crowd, like, welcome, you know, seriously.
Yeah, that's one of been like our big things is we're always like super welcoming.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, me coming in, like, my first, as I've talked about before, my first was Breakaway 2024. I went solo, and I was accepted by people who I had no clue who the fuck they were. Like, and then going into Breakaway last year, obviously I met Dev, I met a bunch of other people.
I joined his rave fam.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
it's just people find each other in this community.
That's a big emphasis for us with like starting this podcast is like kind of demonstrating like it's for the rave community, but it's also to like let people know outside of the rave community that like we are who we are. We like the whole mask thing, like there's no need for that here.
Yeah.
You can wear a mask if you want to, nobody's judging, but like you don't need to. You know?
Trust me, there is no judgment in this community. The things I've seen,
ridiculous.
Things Dev has done.
It's all me. All me, nobody else.
But so like, what does rave culture mean to you then? Like how deeply ingrained in you is that? Cause
like I would say probably the same thing I said with the name thing, right? Like, to me, rave culture has always been a matter of like being yourself and allowing you to kind of express yourself however you want to. You know, when I got into raving, right, it was something that was like a newer experience, like being around so many people who are just enjoying themselves and having a fun time, you know, unabashedly. You know, but you learn really quickly, like, oh, I can just be myself here. Like, this is awesome. And so that, I guess that's what it means to me, is just the same thing with the naming, right? It's why I kind of call myself Relapse. It's like, you know, you should fall back into yourself. Like, when you're at a rave, like, enjoy as you are. Don't hide, you know, your interest and your excitement, right? Like, we've brought a ton of people to raves and stuff like that are like not into that kind of stuff, and it's always funny because they'll come through to one of them and they'll be like, oh, it was fun. Maybe they'll come to a couple, and after a few, that's when they really start to kind of be like, wait, I can literally just be whatever here.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, I started bringing to raves. I think the first one was actually Italians.
Yeah, that's cool.
And within 10 minutes of being there, he just looked at me and he was like, "This is fun. We gotta do this again." I was like, "Hasn't even started, man."
Yeah.
Like, it's been 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And then after that, he just keeps wanting to do more and more, and it's awesome just to have people like come in, like you said, they get to be themselves, they get to drop that mask, and it's a freeing, uplifting experience to be able to have that and have people around you that, instead of being judgmental when you drop that mask, are just like, you're amazing for doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, like, you are an amazing person, and you're very welcome to be here and do what you want to do. That's awesome.
Are you a festival attender? Like, are you like, you do a lot of breakaways,
yeah.
So obviously you do those, but are you like a camping festival kind of person? Or are you like a 3-day, or do you prefer shows? Like, what?
It's fun. I feel like we go to more shows than we do anything else, but we do festivals and stuff. I don't really camp very often, but I have done it before, and it's just, I very much enjoy the camping thing for how convenient it is getting in and out of the festivals, but just there's something about a shower, man, after a long day.
Yeah.
I kind of can't take it, you know.
Forest is my first camping festival, and like this is a lot of hair. Okay,
Yeah.
like this is like we're camping, and I'm terrified. I'm
Yeah,
terrified.
no,
but
trust me,
also
I'm right there with you. It's my
excited.
first camping festival. I am
I shower twice a day. Like
Good luck with that.
I can't even lay down on my bed without showering after a show. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I'm sweaty, I'm gross, I need a shower, I feel dirty.
I 100% feel both of you on that. But let me give you this advice. These are concerns that you think you have, and then when you're there, you will not have these concerns. I promise you. Like for me, it was funny when I was at my first camping festival was Elements last year, and I was at that, and we were next to a soundstage. So until 6 a.m. they were playing music, like loud music, and I thought, that's gonna be really annoying. I fell asleep immediately when I got back to my tent. Every time.
okay.
No problem whatsoever, because you have been walking all day, and all you're doing, you don't really have anywhere to really sit except for like some of these seats and stuff like that. But you're walking back and forth between your tent and the campground. So like you're putting in legwork. So it's just like at the end of the day, you're like, I am so dead tired. You could just be listening to.
I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, literally, your body just like shuts down. You're like, I'm done.
Fun
Like,
fact,
I've
he
been
did that 20 minutes ago or 2
Yeah,
hours ago on
yeah,
the
dude.
couch. I was literally talking, and I'm like, "Are you listening?" And he's like,
you know, I was tired. I was tired, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, granted, I keep saying, like, I'm gonna be at Forest, and some of y'all are gonna find me just laid out on the ground somewhere. Like, it's gonna be like 6 o'clock in the morning. You'll be like, "Is that the Goose?" You're gonna wake me up and be like, "Yo, is the music started again?" Like,
As
let's
you
keep
should,
going.
man. Take your nap. Get your rest in. That's important. If you're going to a festival, get your sleep. Eat more than a chicken nugget. Drink a lot of water. It's important.
Yeah, no, thankfully, I know we've talked to a few people who apparently are going to be cooking some good food.
I'm
So,
bringing my Blackstone.
Fantastic.
There's one thing
so food is
Find me for
definitely-
breakfast. I'm making pancakes.
Yeah, so just moving forward with that same like conversation, like what's a fan experience that's just like really special to you that you've had
It's funny.
besides meeting us?
Yeah, sure. Well, and that's honestly like to that point, right? Like, you know, building the community lately has been really fun. Like, I've very much enjoyed like building a place for people to come and like just talk to each other and enjoy, you know, meeting each other and going to shows together. That's been really cool. You know, just there's little things that stand out. Like, I think one of the biggest ones that stands out to me is when I was playing Breakaway Minnesota last year, and I was playing this like heavy dubstep set for like a half hour after like a rainstorm had like canceled a couple sets, so there weren't like so many people there, and I just like there were these people going like really hard, and I remember these two girls walked up to me afterwards and were like, "Oh my god, who the fuck even are you?" And it was just so cool. I was like, "Oh, you know, I'm Tim. I go by Relapse." Like, yeah, blah blah blah. And they're like, "Can we get your Instagram?" I was like, "Yeah, it's awesome." And it's just it's heartfelt in those moments because you put so much work in, and then when you have people come up to you with genuine joy and excitement after the thing that you did, like I was also at that festival by myself, so it was like there was nobody there who was like an anchor point from back home. So like I guess to me like those things where it's like, you know, none of you have any reason to be saying this, like you just had a fun time. Those are really special.
Yeah, and it must be just like especially because you're expanding your own brand and your own name, like just outside of your home state.
Yeah.
That in and of itself must just feel amazing to have that reach.
Yeah, exactly, and it takes time. You know, it takes time to get those opportunities in the first place. And like, really, I think that you asked about the sign of a successful artist earlier, right? Like, in a lot of ways, successful artists will like search out those kinds of opportunities and dig their teeth in, where like other people will kind of be like, I don't want to do that, or I don't have like the time, whatever. You know, like you make the time and you just do it, and it is worthwhile.
You opening for all these great acts.
Mm.
The last thing I expected was for you to like just so easily and openly be like, yeah, of course I'll come. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was kind of just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, well, and like I said, like, you know, right, you guys are trying to build something really cool here, and we're obviously, you know, looking for ways to partner with people in the area to do stuff like that, right? It helps everybody, and I think that's the coolest thing about, like, the community, is that, like, when people do branch out and they decide, I want to be a part of this in a more meaningful way than just, like, going to shows, like, you know, those types of people tend to find each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, make it work.
Yeah, and I know, like, obviously, like, starting off over the past 6 months, we've, like we've definitely put in work, just like at shows, just being accepting. It's very easy to find solo ravers out there, people who are alone, people who it's their first time, and you always sit there and real people in the community will just sit there like, oh my god, you're here alone. Oh, come on, we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
Like
you're never alone, and that's like the biggest part I think of all this is like, no matter who you are and what you're doing, like whether you're making music or whatnot, like in no situation are you ever alone. Like there's, I don't know, like you're someone who is known, and I still feel like you're still like known. You're known around here. If I see you somewhere, I'm like, that's Tim.
Yeah, I'll do. I mean, I always do that. I always, you're right. For what it's worth, to that exact point. Yeah, like most of the people who are like known are still people who are like,
we're all normal people. Yeah, like, that's what it is. It's just we're all just people.
I just saw a video of Zingara in like moshing at one of her shows. I was just in New York, and I saw them. So like I was hoping that she'd do the same thing over here, but that's like, to me it's the same kind of deal, like, or like Kaiwachi in the crowd at festivals.
He has so many videos of him just in random crowds.
You know what I mean? It's just
no
like,
one recognizes me.
It's just like that kind of interaction. Like we met up with you at Excision, and I'm like, this is the first time I've met him, and like I was like,
and at that point I was like, I met him a couple times.
So that just like, and it was still very welcoming. Like every interaction is so welcoming and so nice. Like I want to be able to do that too. Like I just.
I mean that's again like that's part of the podcast is
yeah.
We want people to like recognize that they're accepted. We want to increase that reach of just everyone's here. We're all here for each other. We're all just normal people. We're all just trying to spread the love.
Yeah,
that's what it is. We're just trying to spread the love.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, right, like the people who are, I mean, most DJs don't bite. Some of them do, but
I mean, depending on how. I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they did.
But for real, like a lot of us are just people who like music, trying to make music and enjoy these shows. And like for me personally, right, it's like I'm like, I mean, we talked about the Keizo thing, right? It's like direct support for Keizo was a year removed from having not even played Big Night before, right? Like it in a lot of ways, like when you see people up there doing that kind of thing, like these are still people who are like in the process of trying to make it. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool, like for us, when people do have that kind of sort of recognition, because it's just like, oh man, I've been grinding so hard on this for so long, and like, it really, like there's so much failure and so much like rejection that comes with all of this stuff. Like there's just like these shining moments of like, oh, my music is making a difference, and it is, building a community where people can feel, involved. So to your point with the podcast, right, like, it's sort of the same thing. It's going to be a lot of work, but also, you're building something where you're hoping to build a community.
I mean, I know, as Dev mentioned earlier before we started the episode, the first drop, that first day, we were on the phone together for like 7 hours throughout the whole process of uploading, as everything was going on, because she was, for lack of a better term, shitting bricks. She was freaking out.
I was nervous.
And then all of a sudden, like, just between us talking, people reaching out through different chats on Radiate, we just saw the numbers start racking up. We had, like, I honestly believe we would have like maybe like 17 views, a couple subscribers. We ended up, I think, as of this morning, we're at like 140 plus.
Yeah.
With almost 50 subscribers on YouTube.
That's crazy.
And I was like, that alone, I was like, there's no fucking way. The first day, within the first 24 hours, we were over 100 views.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that was just like mind-boggling.
And it's like, doesn't, like, in our head, it's like, it doesn't seem like a lot, but at the same time, it's like way better than we thought that, the same kind of concept, it like gives you like motivation to like, okay, like maybe I am doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we are on the right track.
And I know like the second episode definitely chilled off quite a bit.
We did not promote it.
Yeah, we did not promote the second episode whatsoever.
Still...
But it's the matter of, like you said, like a year before Keizo, you never performed at Big Night, and then all of a sudden you're right there as direct support for this huge name, and it kind of just puts it in perspective. Like it's sometimes just a matter of like persevering through the long haul.
Yeah, and like to your point, right? It's like we say a lot of my team, right? It's like I remember when we had 17 followers on Instagram. I remember that was like for a while that's what it was.
Yeah, now
like,
you're
and I remember thinking, and that's what I'm saying. It's just funny. Like you got to keep in touch with that side, right? That like I say this online sometimes. It's like, that because some people will take their music down from like a long time ago because they don't feel like it fits their branding anymore. And one of the things that I always say is like, that kid who was making that kind of music, like put the effort in then and dealt with all of the rejection and like the no recognition so that you can sit where you are right now doing the thing you want to do.
Right.
So like when you're like taking your old stuff down, it's like you're disrespecting that person who put in the work so you can even be who you are. So it's like one of those things where you always just kind of carry it forward as to like, well, I am still that person, right? We still have 17 Instagram followers. It's not, we're still nobody, right? And we're still just trying to push.
Yeah, as Kendrick Lamar said, sit down, be humble.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, among other words, yeah.
Yeah, among other things you said, yes, be humble. But I mean, staying humble is definitely something that
Definitely will struggle with. Oh, that's not what you were gonna say, right?
No, listen, we already know about your ego. But no, being humble can definitely keep you on track, keep you moving forward, and definitely, like you said, it keeps that mindset of, I can't lose that part of me.
Yeah.
Because, God forbid knows what people become when they do.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what I mean. Those are the DJs that bite. So.
Yeah. Again, depends on who and in what way, but.
Sure.
What was your first like big show, like your?
Like attending or performing?
Oh, good question.
Two different answers, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I guess you could give us both.
Yeah. The first, I would say like the first real big thing that inspired me to get into music, I should say, is like.
Yes, I love that.
That would be Excision at Circuit Grounds EDC 2022. That was my first festival, and I just remember seeing that.
I was on the rail.
That was an awesome show, right?
Yes.
I had never seen anything like that before in my life, and I just remember because I had at that point I'd been producing for a couple months, and I don't think I'd bought a DJ kit yet, but I remember standing there in that crowd, looking up at that like screen from the back, and just thinking like, okay, that's like what I want to do, like that, right there, that. And
That's
so then
beautiful. I love that.
I bought my first DJ kit like a month after that.
Yeah.
And that was like what kind of did that. First big show that I ever played was the Levity afters for the Palladium 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I opened I was doors and technically direct support for Levity.
Oh my gosh.
I was so mad that I didn't buy tickets for that.
I didn't even know who they were at the time.
That was the first time I ever heard Levity was at Breakaway 2024, and I like immediately when they performed, I was like, holy shit, who are these guys? Like they're amazing. And then I was like, fuck, I didn't buy after tickets. They were out there, like,
That was an awesome gig, and those guys were really cool. I was kind of freaking out the whole time, and they talked me down afterwards. It was really nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I do hear they're the sweetest people.
I talked to one of them after.
Yeah, we did get to we met them briefly at their
the
after party to the relationship tour. Yeah. So they did seem like really, really good people.
Super sweet guys. Yeah, very down to earth.
Yeah.
So if you weren't making music, if that event never happened, what would you be doing?
Probably obsessed with something else. I don't know. Music has become hyper focused in a lot of ways.
That's
I very much have dug in and found what I love with this. But you know, if I wasn't making music or I couldn't do the DJ thing, like I probably would just find something else to fill my time with.
What were you doing before? What was the job?
I mean, I started producing and DJing when I was 24. So I had just gotten out of college and I was just doing my job, and like it really was born out of this like kind of bored in my head with my work, because I was very much obsessed with what I was doing like for work in college. But like the reality of a job is that like, okay, you went to college for this thing that you might really like. Now you've got to do exactly how I want you to do it, kind of all the time. And it's like, it definitely is a good thing, and I enjoy having like that kind of exercise for the things that I care about and studied. But like to me, the reality is like
a little monotonous.
Yeah, and it really it leaves a lot of room for creative expression. So for me, I had always been, like I said, I'd always been into electronic music, and you know, one day my friend was just like, "Oh, like, have you ever even tried doing it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know how to start." And he gave me an app on my phone called the Flip app, which is basically this like drum sequencer programmer thing that I used to kind of like screw around and make some house beats. And I very much enjoyed it, so then I kept going, and that was just kind of what led that way.
So should we be expecting some house music to come out?
Well, I do have I have decided it's a Crash Out.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah.
That's the S&M Flip is technically a Crash Out track.
But yeah, I do remember listening to that when I was doing my little research.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like jumping around. I was like, yeah, this is fucking
Maybe we'll
awesome.
have to get a relapse curated playlists?
Well, we do have those. We
Yeah,
do actually have those. So we have some Spotify playlists we're working on curating.
Okay,
So
we'll have to get one.
I'll make sure to send you guys those links.
Absolutely, we'll link it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely link it. And we'll link it for you guys on the podcast because he is an amazing DJ. I
appreciate it.
You are doing a back-to-back with who?
Thresher.
Okay, so...
In Ohio.
And that's one of your friends, correct?
Yes, he actually is originally from Boston. He's an up-and-coming producer, but he's out in Columbus now. So yeah, he's a really, really talented kid. If you haven't heard his stuff, very much go check him out. He's awesome. Thresher Music, I think is his handle.
Thresher Music, we will be checking out.
Yes,
what is your dream back-to-back if you had one?
For me, probably Vastiv, if I had to say someone. He's been a big hero for me, very much a big supporter, and he's just awesome. I mean, he's a great dude, and I think, to me, what I love about his music the most is that he is so, balls to the wall with it. He is very much this is what I make, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to go as hard as possible. It's very much inspiring to me, and I've never had a bad time at one of his sets. So,
that's awesome.
To me, it would be just a big, full circle as to being able to go B2B with someone who's genuinely one of my probably people I look up to the most.
So,
or Ray Volpe, he's another one that's really important.
He's so awesome.
He's so good, and that's the thing. I've never had a bad time at a Ray Volpe set, and he is just every time I see him, he gets better.
See, I love this. I love to say it this way. He's not just a great DJ. He's an amazing entertainer.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is such an entertaining person to watch on stage.
1000%.
It just elevates the experience so much.
He's got a huge eye for entertaining value and his visuals and everything like that. He's got a very, very good mind for it. So definitely would be another great opportunity.
My first time seeing him live, I believe, was at EDC, and when Lasers came out. So first of all, it was hard seeing it because you heard Lasers all weekend, you know, and then
everyone plays that to this day.
Ray Volpe, Vastiv are two big ones, and tons of other names, but yeah, those are the two that come to mind immediately, probably.
Are those some of your inspirations?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say bigger inspirations are Vastiv, obviously Ray Volpe, Excision, obviously, Sullivan King, big names. In terms of music production, someone that people don't really know a lot about is Soul Valiant. He's an awesome producer down in I can't remember exactly where, but he's an amazing producer when it comes to heavy sustained dubstep, just incredible music, and even if you're not familiar with him as an artist, you 1000% have heard his music at the biggest names that play all of it. So
yeah, I mean, I will say if you like Excision, Sullivan King, Ray Volpe, Vastiv, it definitely shows up a lot in your music. You can tell that those are some of the inspirations, some of the, I don't want to say you're trying to emulate, but definitely some there you can definitely feel that you're along that same vibe or same track as them.
Yeah, well, and you're a sum total in a lot of ways of the people you're inspired by, right? When you try to put on a set, you have examples that you really appreciate, and if you're good at what you do, right, you can obviously listen and be well, they do it kind of like this. You kind of take some of those tricks and do it yourself. So, I think in a lot of ways I have definitely gained my acumen for DJing, not just through practice, but also through observation of some of these really, really cool names. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I know we have a couple of friends that are definitely getting into DJing a little bit, definitely a lot lower on the board than you, but they're definitely starting to, pick up steam, go to perform at shows.
You just gotta keep going.
So
keep with it.
It's a good thing to see. It's, like you said, supporting some of the local lesser known acts is definitely not only part of, I know what you want to do as a headliner, but what we want to do on the podcast.
For sure.
So,
who should we be looking out for out here?
what would you say are some of the up and comers that we should be
around here? Oh man, great question. So I mean, Zan is a great friend of mine, awesome producer, incredible. There was this kid Hyper Invasion who moved out to Denver. I always used to say he's the best producer you've never heard of in Boston.
Okay.
Now he's one of the best producers you've probably never heard of in Denver, but you probably will soon. he's kicking it off. So he's incredible. This guy Jetstreak, who I've known for a very long time, is an incredible, just general dubstep producer. People like them. Spring Street, like I said, is opening for Seven Lions this weekend. It's going to be an awesome show. He makes some incredible music. God, there's so many people that I could name that I just aren't coming to my brain. But kids like Thresher, right? Young younger guy who's just incredible. Got a great acumen for story and sort of understanding bass music. So there's just tons of great names, man. Honestly, if you want to go find really, really good producers and really good up-and-coming DJs, go to your local underground shows. It's just, there's so many good opportunities with lineups. Like you were talking about with the arcade thing, where it's like, I don't recognize any of those names. But I'm sure in like a year or two, I might. Like,
yeah,
you just gotta keep going. You know?
One of our friends, I should say, she knows one of those DJs personally, and so I know she's gonna be there. But I haven't heard a single one of them. I was like, no clue. The only person I can vouch for that you mentioned was Zan, because we did see him at New Year's Eve.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He is incredible. I will props to him.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Another guy that you might not have heard of is Fine China. He's an incredible like melodic DJ. He mostly DJs. I don't think he produces yet, but just like an insanely talented set writer. So just like all these types of people, like you'll find them at the randomest gigs, you'll find them in the weirdest places, but like if you're looking at an underground show and you're like, I don't know, like it's so worth it. You either are gonna have a fun time or you're not. And like the worst you can have happen is like it just wasn't great for you. But like most of the time you're gonna find some producers that you're like, man, that guy threw down, that was a lot of fun. So I would say that's
I do find I love like the underground vibes too. It's much more intimate. Like I've gone and had conversations and been like, hey, your music's great, and they're like, hey, but like have you also like heard this guy, or you know, like, and like those interactions I think make it meaningful and make me want to like come back to those those things and be like, hey, I went to this thing at the arcade and it was like super cool. Video games and dubstep 360 set, like come on.
Yeah, that's why like one of my favorite venues locally is Cantab Lounge Underground, because it's a smaller venue where it's like you can literally just like you can actually hear when you're trying to talk to someone, that you can get really close to the DJs and performers, and I met Kousen there.
Yeah, he's another great name.
One time he was just came for a set and was just chilling, wasn't even performing. I was like, oh shit, you're Kousen. He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Exactly right. Like you just meet tons of people that are out there having a fun time. Like we go to shows all the time that are just like, you know, we're just chilling, you know. So I mean, you can find tons of great names that way.
So, random question, but what's like the most chaotic or funniest moment you've had at a show?
Oh yeah. Oh, we were debating whether or not I could even tell this story.
But I mean,
you can't tease the fans now.
Well, yeah, no. Well, I'm not gonna name the venue. That's what I'll do. I'm not gonna name the venue. But there was a venue when I was a lot smaller of a producer, and artist. I was in the sort of underground scene. We were playing these gigs at this bar in Cambridge. That we were on this lineup, and I was second on the lineup. I think Zan was supposed to be headlining, and that's how far back we go. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. It must have been 3 years ago now.
Wow.
But it was really funny because we were playing this bar and there was like hardly anyone in there, and all of a sudden this wedding party shows up, and they're like asking us to play Taylor Swift, right? Like it's booked as a dubstep night. These people are asking to play Taylor Swift, and like we keep being like, I kept saying I have something at the end, and it was the Crank That's version of it. So, I didn't get to do it though because they cut us mid-set, and not only did we get cut from that set, that event runner was not allowed to play there anymore, ever again. So what ended up happening is they were looking for new venues, and Cantab was the one that was allowing them to go in. So that's why the underground scene in Boston has so heavily adopted Cantab as a thing. Is
they saved your lives.
Because the previous venue we got kicked out of.
Oh my gosh, play Taylor Swift, and imagine.
I was gonna.
Shut the fuck up.
I was this close.
This close.
If I didn't know we were gonna get cut, I would have done it immediately.
They would have heard a great 5 seconds of Taylor Swift before their minds got.
Yeah,
It makes me so happy every time.
I know.
I was actually driving Route 2 the other day, and I saw this girl. She looked in my car, and I could hear her because she was like, "It's me, hi." She was like, and then I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" And she was like, I watched her face drop. I was like, "Yeah, yep, that was for you, baby girl."
Yeah, I love how, especially like Crank That just uses all these like random just like social media clips and just makes all these great songs out of them. Yeah. Like my first time discovering it was actually what was it, when he did Glockroach. He did a clip where he took a song. Well, he took the sound of I swear it was like a giant grasshopper, and it was just like flapping its wings, and it made this like really loud, obnoxious sound. And he was just like, all right, bet. And made an entire song called Glock Roach.
I
And
don't
it
know
was
if
just,
I heard that one.
oh, it was
I don't know.
great. And
He might be making it up.
Oh,
He
no.
might be.
I will pull it up on my phone right now. Don't play. But like he did that, what was it, the Taco Bell one, the Baja Blast?
Yeah.
Okay,
Baja Blast was
okay.
another good one.
That is a good one.
Like,
I like Tynan's Walmart.
oh yeah, the Walmart.
Yeah.
What Wubs was it?
Wubs-
Wubmart. Wubmart that he just put out. He just
Have you heard
dropped
that one yet?
No, I've heard a lot of his new album though. It's really
Like
good.
yeah, he was teasing it for like the last 2 weeks ago, and then it was like what last week or a week and a half
He's
ago
like,
he
I'm actually
dropped
just
it,
gonna drop it.
and it was literally just Wubmart, and it's just a bunch of Walmart sounds made into a song, and it's just beautiful. It's fucking beautiful, dude.
Oh yeah.
How has, speaking on social media, how has social media like been detrimental for your, like, do you think it's had like a big
Detrimental?
part? Is detrimental the right word?
Or
Is that the
Well,
wrong? I don't know what that
influential?
means. I don't listen. I'm trying to sound smart, man. How has what role does social media play for you? Is it like important or is it more like?
I mean, I'm very much look. If I could go without social media completely, I would. I would not be online if I didn't have to be. But I approach social media in terms of the project as a very it's an opportunity to get my music and my art in front of people that wouldn't normally see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something you take advantage of and you just do it. But obviously, I think there's considerations to be had with how much you let it take control of your life, and there are ways that you can spend way too much time being on social media
Yeah.
and then not doing the art part, so you have to kind of balance it. But yeah, I mean it's a tool. It's a tool to be used, and you do what you can to use it.
yeah, I mean, especially in this world and society, it tends to be a driving force, especially for success.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's unfortunately a necessity that we have to sometimes deal with.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it does. Again, it's a good window for you to at least put in front of people hey, I'm doing this thing that's really cool, and you may not have known about it. So
Yeah,
if you can hack into that and use it, it's very
even with that, I mean, it's also kind of cool just to see your level of following success based off of how many people you can see that are coming to you and listening or viewing your stuff, which is really awesome to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it amplifies everything that you can kind of do. It's like a megaphone in a way.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and speaking of that, speaking of social media people coming to you, one of the last big questions I have is, what do you want people to really truly feel? What's if you could pick one emotion for people to feel when you play music live?
I guess
what would it be?
probably I'm him. I don't know. Seriously, when you're watching my show, I touched on this
I
earlier.
mean, they must have amnesia. They forgot that you're him, man.
Yeah, no, not. Yeah, let me be clear. I don't mean I'm him. I mean you're him, right? When you're watching my shows, I want you to be that's right. I am him. I want people who are watching my shows to be I am who I am. I am going to be who I am, and I am not going to let anyone stop me from doing that. So it's that's the biggest feeling. It's just being fuck yes,
Yeah, because I've definitely started noticing that a little bit over the last few shows I've been to. Went to William Black this past weekend, Subtronics. There's certain emotions I feel at specific shows that just when these headliners come on and they play their sets, it's just like William Black. The whole time I'm just it felt like a lot of the music he was playing Unlove You. I was yo, it felt like there was some grief or weight lifted off me just listening to that live and just
you feel seen.
yeah, it felt like a part of me that I've been I don't want to say burying, but I might not have known how to deal with, just kind of
I feel like
processes.
Enzo curates his sets a lot like that, to be they're always very healing. It's a wave. I don't know. It's wavy and then
No, I know.
I think by the end of an Enzo set, if you don't feel healed, you didn't do it right.
Enzo is a master.
And granted,
I
kind
am
of thing.
so excited for him at Breakaway.
Oh,
yeah, listen, bubble lasers at Breakaway Outdoors. I want it.
Oh,
I need it.
that was insane.
I know.
yeah.
That was great.
That was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yes.
Oh, no
We
shit.
said hi.
You don't remember. Well, she didn't see you. I saw
Yes, she
you.
did.
Did you?
Yeah.
'Cause I remember.
was
I
with my
remember
friend
running
Molly.
into.
I did see you guys, yeah.
Alright, so before we end, is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
No, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, so you can find me online at rlpzmusic.com or relapsemusic.com. I'm Relapse Music on Instagram, on Spotify and SoundCloud and all that stuff. I'm just Relapse, RLPZ. But yeah, we've got a bunch of different things, different Spotify playlists, different community chats. So if you want to get involved or stay up to date, just tap into the website. There's all those links there. You'll find everything you need.
Yeah, I mean, we will be linking, hopefully, all of these.
I'll give you everything you need.
We'll be
will.
linking these so that way you can follow him. Make sure you check out his music. He really is an amazing DJ.
Appreciate it.
If you see him on a lineup, make sure you show up. Like you said, he will be headlining May 2nd. Make sure you show up. Support your boy. And with that, thank you for joining us. This is Kandi and Chaos.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Appreciate
coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
always.
definitely.
Anytime.
No,
That's it. We're out.
yeah.
All right.
Have a good night.